and then it had the flag. So love that
Oh,
shirt.
well, with a name like Carrie, you should have a green Irish shirt.
Dude, my mom's they did the test on her, 100% Irish is what my brother told me. I don't know. So Doherty,
One of these
McCormick. Yeah.
one of these days I'll tell you an Irish joke. Not today, but
Oh yeah. Like
someday.
I told one and people got pissed off. It was basically like this. An
Refrain.
Irishman walks out of a bar.
That's funny. That's pretty funny, actually.
I took summer classes once, and there's a guy teaching a sales class, and he announced he was going to tell an ethnic joke, and this was in college, and everybody freaks out, and there's a black guy next to me. So he waits till everybody gets all agitated, and he goes, "You see, there were these two ethnics," and that was the end of that. Was it? Just made it over.
Oh,
Ready to start when you are, Paul.
give it another minute or two.
You got it.
Oh,
So while we're waiting, 3 conspiracy theorists walk into a bar. You can't tell me that's just a coincidence.
all right. You want to start, Mike? Yeah.
Yeah, go for it.
Well,
You
hello.
gotta
Hmm?
Paul, you gotta start with a joke though. Can you do that?
Yes. What's the difference between uh, a flat tire and 500 used condoms?
You told this one before. I can't remember the punchline.
One's a good year, the other's
Oh,
a good year.
great year. Oh yeah. Hey, I like your shirt. Let's see your shirt, Paul. What is that? Yeah.
It's the whale from Hawaii.
All right, all right. I know. I love that one. Cool.
Yes. Yeah, that I like those shirts too. Definitely. She's making more, eh?
I play pickleball with her husband. Yeah, she makes more. Just
It's a good little deal. It's not bad.
yeah.
But nice shirts. Yeah. Kathleen, how are you? All right. Yeah. Anybody have any questions?
Yes, I have a question, Paul.
Oh, you do. All right.
Could you could you could you give me your take on ego and self?
Yes, yes.
Thank you.
Yeah. Hold on one second. Come on, go out. Yes. So a simple thing is when you speak about an ego, you think you have one and you don't want to have one. Yes? Yes, Sean?
Yeah,
So who is it that's being implied that has the ego or doesn't have an ego?
the
It's
ego.
self, yes? No, it's self. The ego doesn't say it has an ego. It's the idea of self says it has an ego, and then it's in the business of losing the ego, but the self stays intact. Yes?
Right,
So if you look at it, uh, but there is no ego that says it has a self.
right.
Yes? There you
Yeah,
go. So in time, there's importance between before and after. So the ego, the idea of ego obviously comes after the sense of being a self. Yeah. So you could actually say that it's the mental state's objectification of itself as an, and it calls it an ego. Yeah. And now it wants to lose the ego. But then it falls into that category of recovery, which is self can't get out of self. So, yes. Yeah, so you're trying to get out of the ego all the while taking being presented as a self. Yes. So I think they're hugely different. That's why we don't use the term ego much here. Yeah. Why would you want to talk? Why would you want to talk about an objectification of the false subject? I'd rather just go to the false subject. The false subject is arrived at by that mental state's reaction to a sense of self. It says there already is one. So you have a sense of being an individual, and you believe that verifies you're an individual that's putting out that sense. Yeah, this is how the head works. It's not, you can see it. Yeah. So the head, uh, so there's this, I'll go to a thing with Ramana Maharshi. Because if you're in this occupation of spiritual seeking, self-will becomes an important topic, yeah, at a lot of meetings. And when you get a chance to be with someone you feel knows a lot of the mysteries, you'll ask them. And they can get more subtle. So the basic one is there free will or is it self-determination? In other words, are you just living out a destiny or do you actually have free will? And it says, or could there be free will in predetermination? Yeah, that's a tricky move. So when presented with this question, which he must have been many, many times, he totally bypasses the question and says, if there is a sense of individuality, which he's basically saying there is, there's going to be a sense of free will. Yeah. Yeah. So what's interested in talking about the free will is the sense of individuality, being an individual. Yeah. It's much wiser to go there and see, is there an individual putting out the sense of individuality, or is the sense of individuality used to imply there's an individual? I would say it's the second one. Yeah.
Right.
So this, it verifies itself by a sense or a feeling, just like it's happening now. My weather report app states a fact, it's 54 degrees, but it says it feels like it's 61. Yeah, it does every day. It says, all right, the fact of the temperature is it's 56, but your subjective experience is like it's 61. You see? The subjective experience is dreaming. It has to be, you can only go, the only thing that it looks like is what we call a dream at night when we wake up in the morning. It's dreaming, yes? You are super afraid of a tiger that you saw in the dreaming. When you wake up, you're not afraid of the tiger because you know, just as anything and everything else that appeared in the dreaming is unreal except for you. You're the thing that appeared in the dreaming and continues reality in the awake dream. The dreamt tiger is dismissed. The bicycle with square tires is dismissed. All this stuff, but you still get sustained as the long-lasting, independent, separate entity. This is why we need, in the awake dreaming, we need something because we don't have a built-in waking up. Yeah, we don't have a morning in the awake dream. Yeah, so we need satsang. We need to entertain an idea so that we can become awake to being awake because we're being awake already. It's not something you're going to produce. Yeah, you lose interest in something else, and then it becomes obvious that you're awake. And you don't have any date where you weren't awake, and suddenly something happened and you've been awake ever since 2:30 p.m., August 12th, and where it happened at a giant Walmart and what aisle, the appliance aisle. No, you don't, you don't have that. I don't feel. Yeah. So you wake up to something that's already so by seeing what you're not. That's, if you could make it a dance, this would be the dance step. Yes. The dance step would be negation of the one step, and then realizing you're already at the other point where you wanted to make a step to. So you arrive upon having never left. Yeah, this is what happens, and it's like a screwball or a curveball in the mental logic. The mental logic hasn't caught a ball like this, and it freezes it. Yeah, it freezes it, and in that pause, a lot gets revealed. Yeah. Now, do you have to see it 55 times? No. Again, your feeling that it's so or not is produced is has a lot to do with the subjective experience. So you may have to hear it 800 times. Did you have to hear it 800 times? No. That's how it played out. You may need to hear it once, and then if you try 799 times, that's being used to deny that you only needed one time. Yeah. So the head keeps on claiming whatever condition. See, uh, let's say there's a level of conditions that affect each other. And then there are other conditions that are not affected by those conditions. Yes?
Yeah.
So that old song, I just dropped in to see what condition the condition was in. Yeah.
Yeah.
This is the duality. So you believe you're the reality dropping in to see what condition the condition is in, but that's a condition also. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Came through the back door.
So you don't go anywhere. You realize you've never left. Yes, that's the beauty of it. Yeah. And then all your travel logs, how many miles, how much mileage per hour I getting, where I went to, where I stopped, all of that just gets the meaning of it gets dismissed, and hopefully it becomes more entertainment. Yeah. Now, like someone was asking me Saturday about my t-shirts and why do I have so many t-shirts? Well, in a weird way, my friend jumped in and said, because that's how he tells where he was. And it's true. I know I was in Hawaii with this t-shirt. Yeah. I tell my signs of time and space are t-shirts. I can't remember where my keys are, but if I look at a t-shirt in my closet, it reminds me exactly where I was, where I got that t-shirt. So if someone says you were wearing a whale shirt, I would probably remember that person much easier than if they try to describe what they look like and what was going on. Just tell me what shirt I was wearing. Yeah. So this is weird shit that happens. But the old idea that from a mental logic, if you saw a sage and you would look at what he did and you would expect that if you did the same thing he was doing, you would be brought to where he is. Yes.
Yeah.
But this is what brings out the failure of the false logic, because what he's doing is an expression of where he is. It is not a way to get to where he is. Yeah, or her. Yes. Completely different. But how our head sees it is, all right, I'm gonna I'm gonna mimeograph the steps I see she or he does, and I'm gonna try to do the same steps with the logic that if I do what he does, I'm going to arrive at where he is. But he didn't arrive at where he is by doing what he does. He's arrived at where he is upon having never left. So that frees up the doing. Yes. And so when you're trying to map a way to arrive at where you never left, it's going to fail you. And that's the value. The value is that it fails you. Yes? So you watch it with people a lot of times. some of us who've been with us for a while, people come in, they're very enthusiastic, they have a notebook and they're taking notes and stuff. And after a couple of satsangs, the notes are gone and everything like that. They realized this isn't like a class that you're going to advance and get a PhD or something. It's completely like an end run around the mental logic. Yeah.
The more you fail, the better it is.
Yes, in this case, the spirituality that is seen as how I'm going to succeed in a transformation or transcending and stuff like that, that's where failure is the most valuable. It is. Because when you're reaching for the stars, and already being a star, when you're reaching and trying to figure it out or grok it or experience it, it fails because you are what you're trying to experience. You are what's looking. Yeah. The seeker and the sought is really the seeker is the sought. Yeah. Compresses time and space. I feel this is how it's interpreted here. Other people may have different interpretations of non-duality. I mean, the ingredients may be the same, but if it's baked in one oven, it comes out as a muffin. The other, it could be a croissant. Yes. But I'm in the muffin, yeah, oven. Yes. So all I'm repeating, this isn't the understanding I had before I heard non-duality. This is the understanding I have after I heard non-duality. Yes. Yeah. Yeah. So it's come from dominoes falling and dropping, and then just the reverse engineering of it. Yeah, which I don't do purposely because I can't find my keys. I can't do much, but the head can switch things around. And sometimes the best way to find out about gravity is go into an anti-gravity chamber. As soon as you're released or relieved of the influence of gravity, you'll know it. Yeah. Yeah. And so to me, non-duality is an invitation and it's an understanding and it has warnings in the understanding. Warnings play a very important role because they will describe things that you thought you were doing as mechanical. Yeah. And so this idea of pride and shame can't grow on that wall. Yeah. It has a difficult time, like any ivy has to have something to grab onto. When there's nothing to grab onto, it can't spread. Yeah. The same with this. And then you're left with your own devices, and there's an aspect of you that's still, and then you see all the other aspects that you used to call you are agitated. And then that sense funnels you right into the statement, being ourselves reality. And I guess part of being ourselves reality, being still is not an order that you're never going to be able to fulfill, but it's a very, very obvious possibility. We can be still. The head may not be able to. Yes? So maybe when we are still and you see the heads moving, that's when the understanding and warnings are valuable. The understanding will inform you they're not you, yes? And the warning will point out that they're going to continue because they're like a machine or a mechanical action. Yeah? There isn't something there choosing to do it. It's like a hole cutter would just keep punching holes. Yes, that's what it does. A toaster is probably never going to surprise you with a smoothie. It's just going to make toast. Yes. So this is what goes on. And you've come to out of your senses in a way. And like Zen would describe it, you'll see blue is blue and red is red. Things will be very obviously and clear. It's not like you got a super max telescope. These eyes are completely not what you're looking from. Yes, the eyes are programmed to see things right there and then. They're an unreliable form of, they actually promote a certain blindness, which is more difficult than a real blindness because you think you're seeing. But while you're seeing through these eyes and being driven by the mental logic, you're really blind to a lot of possibilities. Yes? And you're not going to be unblind. That's the good news. It isn't like you recognize the failure of the system and then you get it busy trying to make it successful. No, it's like you've been riding a horse, you haven't been going anywhere, you finally realize it's dead. You just get off the horse. I don't try to keep resuscitating it. I'm convinced that it's dead. I'm convinced that the head as a GPS or as a guide is failed. Yeah. I've had enough experiences. I was late in understanding. I entertained the understanding. Another understanding brought the warnings that I needed to hear. I heard it. Yeah. Yes. Yeah. And now, no matter how screwed up or funky I am, there's an underlying knowing I'm awake. Not because I've performed in an incredible challenge. No, we all are. Yeah. Our basic nature is awakeness. Yeah. The head is dragged into that state and it really doesn't like being awake. It wants to be awake to certain things and not be awake to other things. Yeah. Yeah. That's why you'll watch Die Hard 8 after you know the last. Well, the first one was good, but everyone after sucked. And now you're watching Die Hard 8 because you're just bored stiff. Yeah. It's a bad movie, but at least you know it. It's worse when you watch another movie. I saw a movie. We were visiting some people. I'm not going to name it. We were visiting this weekend. I did a talk up north of here. So we presented this movie, pretty cool movie called Poor Things. I recommend it very highly. Poor, Poor Things. The lady won the Academy Award last year. The people we were with didn't like Poor Things, so we had to go to another one right out of Amazon, and it sucked. It was so bad. I mean, uh, if you could have erased it and kept the celluloid, the film, it would have been great. And use it for like an animal documentary or something. But it was really weird. So we're not acquiring a new knowing. We may acquire some knowledge that leads us to uh, the inherent failure of knowledge, and there's a sense of the knowing. Yes. Yeah.
I also find
Hmm?
putting the my awareness on on self on the mind is there's a lot of humor at at
Yeah.
looking at the dysfunction of what is actually going on the whole time. It's just mad. It's madness. Just it's just
Yeah.
ah.
Well, subscribe to that. It's got a lot of seasons. There's a lot of, it's the same one every year. It's the same. It's just, you'll see. It's really running a very small loop. It doesn't have much creativity. The Course
Uh,
in Miracles describes it as we see only the past. Yeah. So the whole system, and in recovery, where one thing rooted in the past that's very, very important to notice is resentment. Yeah. So resentment is to refeel something. And where was that something? It's not in the future, it's in the past. Yes. So we're really witnessing a rehashing, a rethinking, a redoing, a refeeling, a re. Yeah. Yeah. Now, somebody some laps, they just change the scenery, so it looks like you're on a new lap. Then it gets really lazy and it's the same scenery. It thinks we're so out to lunch, it can just keep clicking the laps Hey, I saw that before. Sometimes you'll splay, you're in a moment, you're in a day and a time, and then you get a narration from 1978. It's just weird. Yeah. And then it's like when you saw the cat go across the threshold in Matrix, if you
Yeah.
saw the cat do it twice, that was a pause in the Matrix. It had to regroup. There's a beautiful moment. That's what it's like in the head. It doesn't get that much better either. It just it its emphasis shrinks, and then other things that were shadowed by that super emphasis are get to be noticed, which is the joy, yeah, of the living. Yeah. It's just an emphasis that actually, if you could see the example as size, it would be things get bigger and then other things get smaller. The bigger things get smaller and then the smaller things get bigger. And you may like the secondary, yeah, event. Yeah. Yeah. You can really, uh, this train just left the station today. I have no connection with years and years and years. It's just, it's just like, it's a memory that's compressed and it blows up like a balloon when you're in the day, Then it gets compressed at night. You wake up, you have another day. But there's no. I'd like to stop the film at 1978, verify if that was Paul. We've got Paul here now. Paul, can you verify that was Paul? I don't feel like that. Uh, so yeah, there's all you need to do is see enough. You don't have to see everything. It may not even see more. Just see enough, and the house of cards can be recognized by one tile. You'll recognize that it's all cards. Yeah, 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 and it keeps on going. But now you'll travel lighter through whatever it has in store for you as the action figure. And really, what more do you want? When I come up with it all, I was just in a hotbed of spiritual seeking this weekend. A couple of cults going on and everything. Yeah, yeah. It was wild. Uh, like a lot of momentum to get bigger and better, really. And then a lot of drama, a lot of drama. Yeah, yeah.
Where
But
was this?
I'm not going to say because some of them may be listening. I've
Copy.
already said too much, so. But it was just it's nice to be outside looking in. Yeah, it is quite nice. Do you think when you start passing away, your spiritual resume is going to be read out loud? You're going to go like you came in without fucking knowing it, probably. You'll be like an empty log they throw on something. I can't understand how you can one day say, "Oh, Jimmy passed away the other day," and yet see Jimmy's body still here and not make the recognition that, wait a minute, there's Jimmy, but that ain't Jimmy. Yeah. And I truly have a feeling that Jimmy has left, but there he is. It just escapes us? Yeah. So if you're not over, you're not over, man. When I first started, uh, And it was the weirdest thing. Spirituality didn't really bring me this message. It was really getting fatigued by spirituality that I was open to go somewhere one day and hear it. And I got it outside any of my performing arts, of spirituality. It wasn't in the middle of whatever, ventilating or whatever it was, sticking something up somewhere or whatever. It was just, I was sort of tired because I saw like a pattern. Yeah. And in the head, that pattern was imaged as going on and on and on, not going anywhere, just patterning. Yeah. And then I heard this idea, the non-duality idea, and uh, first of all, it did the German Shepherd thing with my head. I was reading at this book, and I had to stop like every page because my head was getting twisted out of its old yogic posture, which was I, me, my. It was getting untwisted, and yeah. And then I just got on the enthusiasm didn't demand much. It seemed to demand a little. I fulfilled it, and then it was enough. Yeah. I was interested in seeing this guy who wrote this book that I got because he was 85, and I figure he's gonna die. So I figured I'd like to see him. So I went to Bombay, India by myself, and I saw him. And then I went down to where Ramana Maharshi lived, hung around there. Then I came back and saw the guy again. And really, another guy there I was really impressed with. He took me out, and he was a bookie actually, and he took me to the Bombay racetrack, which I wasn't expecting to be brought to on a spiritual odyssey. But I was brought to the racetrack, and he took me over to where Nisargadatta lived and met Nisargadatta's family, and then he took me to where he worked selling cigarettes. There's a little hole in the wall. And yeah, I really was impressed by this guy. I don't want to say his name either. I don't think he's on the marquee or like an opening act. I don't know. I think he was just there's a humble recognition in there. Yeah. So, and then all this shit happened. People from outside of recovery fell some of our talks, asked me to come visit them, and I saw a spiritual addiction in all its glory. Yeah. Yeah. And so many misunderstandings I had had. I had thought spirituality was immune to a lot of stuff, because it's like a noble calling and a special path, but I realized the head doesn't see it that way. The head just claims whatever it's brought into contact with. Yeah, what brings it into contact with isn't the head, it's the conscious contact, the I am in the form of existing right now. And then it just claims the stuff and wraps the story of verbing around a noun. Yeah. And then that noun just gets tighter and tighter in a way. Yeah. And then suddenly you're cast to be before a lot of stuff that you actually only noticed it after it happened. Yeah. But suddenly you're the doer of most things and the haver yet you can't, do you take a break every day and try to remember what you ate? Like I had a pizza on Tuesday, then you got to take an hour to digest it? No, obviously not. Yeah. You're not digesting the food. You're not pumping the blood. You're not beating the heart. Yeah. It's so wild, such a subtle process of thinking you believe you're the thinker. Yeah. Well, so it's not a difficult invitation, and it has the truth behind it, I humbly believe. And basically, from there, you look at the unreal as Ramana said, the only requirement necessary, and forgive me if you know his writings, but this is one of them he said. He says this nice thing we always use, which is, it is false to speak of realization. What is there to realize? The way I heard it from him was that what we want to realize is always realized. So there's not an event of realization. Yeah. So that which is ising. It's not waiting for you to see it. It is. Yeah. So he goes, it is false to speak of realization. What is there to realize? Question mark. The real is as it is always. The real being a big R. Yeah. The real is as it is always. Yeah. In time, you always think there could be an exemption or a special condition, but he says always, which means absoluteness in time. Yeah. Always. That always is not built on a requirement, especially one we think we need or have. It's based on the fact of reality. It always is real. Yeah. So, how to realize it? Pretty interesting. If we can't, it's stupid to speak of realization. And what is there to realize? The real is as it is always. How to realize it? Oh, well, wait a minute. You seem to be bad mouthing realization. And then you go, how do you realize it? Yeah. But he's going to turn it in an incredible way. All that is required is this: we have realized the unreal. I believe every one of us have had many, many, many moments, some of them even noticed, of doing just that. Yeah. We have realized the unreal. Instead of looking constantly from the unreal and making up a conceptual reality we're trying to find, we see all that as unreal from reality. That's all that is required. So you've already met the requirements. That's why it says it's an open secret, or the gateless gate. Yeah. If the gate has no gate, then it ain't a gate. Yeah. For it to be a gate, it needs a gate. It's a gateless gate, means there's no gate. It's an open secret. Secrets are not open. So an open secret, once again, it ain't a secret. Yeah. What is required? The only thing that is required is to see the unreal from the real. And I humbly believe non-duality helps with that. Yes? It will describe a lot of shit that we thought is and was real and says it's not. Yeah. And in such a strong way, it's very emphatic. It doesn't say it with a lot of words. It just makes a statement and says, like Buddha supposedly said, events happen, deeds are done, but there's no individual doer thereof. That's a fucking incredible statement. Yeah. Or Jesus, you're in this world, but you're not of this world. Or Huang Po, the great Chinese Zen master, whatever can be perceived cannot be that which is perceiving. All of those have more value than an 800-page book, if you really, yeah. Because if you're open to it, it's going to open you up. Yeah. Not you opening a book. It's going to open you up. Because the head is based on the exact opposite. The head says what can be perceived is what's perceiving. And he disputes that right from the get-go. No, I'm giving you whatever can be perceived, because there's a lot of perceiving going on. And one of the things are perceived is bodies, yes? And he uses that everyone is familiar with. Whatever can be perceived cannot be that which is perceiving. Yes? He doesn't go, you're not that which is perceiving. He explains it beautifully. Your casual understanding is, yes, I'm perceiving, but I'm perceiving as a thing. And he disputes that, not the perceiving, but he disputes the idea of being a thing. Wow. What a beautiful, like, sword form. Just, yeah. Just cut both legs out from underneath you. And if people have trouble with the understanding, let's use the word see or perceive. There are things here. I'm looking at these squares and I'm seeing different things. Mia's doing a weird dance with some black dog, other things. So I am perceiving all of that. I perceive the background. I perceive the cat coming in here. You can see a big tail right there. I perceive all this. All right, with that, no argument. There's a perceiving all this. But the argument is yet that this is which can be perceived cannot be that which is perceiving. That's all. Simple correction. See if the foot wears. Like you've been thinking you're a size 11, maybe, and then you try a size 10 and it fits better. Wow. So you had a story you were 11, but really a size 10 fits better. You start walking, you're more comfortable. Wow, I'll give up that idea I am 11 at any moment for relief. Yeah. Don't give me a 10. I know I'm 11. Well, maybe try it because they're different sizes. One 10 is bigger than another one. So here, whatever can be perceived, which we're doing right now, we're not doing it, but it's happening. And then the head says we're doing it. And then it gives you the message, hey, that which you think is perceiving is not that which is perceiving. You are in the category of what can be perceived. What? Yes. I mean, how many times would you need that to be pummeled into you? Not much. Yeah. It's not like it's a hieroglyphic that needs to be translated. It's just like the horse is in front of the cart, but you feel like the cart is in front of the horse. Now, no matter how much you feel like the cart is in front of the horse, it's not. Yeah? The horse is in front of the cart. So it's not like the earth gets moved and put in right place. You were seeing it incorrectly. That's all. That's what gets corrected, how you're seeing it. The thing itself hasn't moved at all. But how you're seeing it is you look at the cart and then the horse, so you think the cart is in front of the horse, but it isn't. It's the horse is in front of the cart. And it has always been that way. It's so wonderful when the correction locks you into that. Yeah, it is. You realize there is a hierarchy in time. And in that hierarchy, that which comes before has more influence than that which comes after. Yeah, we're trying to do all these processes after, and they're all being infected by that process that comes before. So every process to get out of something, you're seen as that's something you're trying to get out of. I mean, how is it going to work other than to do that? This is what happened. I remember I heard this where they said, oh man, there's a presupposing of the non-existent thing. And what is it being presupposed as? You're not doing it, the head is. It's being presupposed as an existent thing. That's all. Yeah. So the non-existent thing, the head presupposes that to be the existent thing. Yes. That's why when there's perceiving, you think the perceived is doing it. Yeah. That is the existent thing. Yes. Yes. If that's the case, your spiritual practices themselves are reinforcing the idea of the existent thing, or that the perceived is what's perceiving. How can they destroy it? So what are they doing? If the spiritual practices aren't doing what you thought they're doing something else you weren't thinking they're doing, which is they're reinforcing the glue instead of releasing you from the glue. That hit me. Like, it was like a knockout in the first round. The bell hadn't even rang yet. That was it. Because I had been doing things for years, and that captured it perfectly. Perfectly. Yeah. And all I could come up with was more and then different. Let's mix Kabbalah with Hinayana and do some Vajrayana, da da da. And just it just didn't work here. I mean, it's going to make you feel good. And if you're an experience junkie, there's some incredible experiences of, if you sit and meditate for 13 hours a day, you're going to hallucinate without taking anything. You're going to, yeah, you're going to have tons of experiences, but change the condition that you're having those experiences in, and you lose everything like that. Yeah. Yes. All right.
Hey, Paul, we have David Love with his hand up, his first up, and it's been up.
Well, it's
David.
vertical hand. His arm's not tired.
So yeah, you were talking about a month. I was watching one of your videos from about a month ago, and you were talking about how in dreams you can be a superhero or whatever, and it's anything can happen. But in real life, the real life dream, something else. I don't remember what points you were making, but I guess the question is there anything meaningful about the difference between nighttime dreams and daytime dreams, which help us understand non-duality?
Yeah, that there's nothing different between them.
Right. I don't remember what points you were making. I do
Yeah.
dream work with
There's
clients.
nothing
I tell them
different
that,
other than you wake up because you have a morning in the night dream. Yeah. You did not do a Herculean task to wake up from the dream at night, did you? No. You didn't break through like a comet. You woke up. Yeah? You
yeah,
woke up. It's called the morning. And then all that was taken to be real was seen to be unreal. Yeah. But question this, do you dream of bodies? Do you dream of things?
yeah,
Yes. So the dreaming is of the system, eh? By the system, through the system.
right.
You see things. Yeah, maybe you don't see you because you're the viewer of it all, but everything else you're seeing is a thing. Yeah. This thing, that thing, this thing. Do you believe everything is things?
Yeah, we say in dream work that everything in a dream is part of the dreamer. But
Yes, and the dreamer, the owning of the dream is the dreamer, and that is of the body. Yes.
right.
I want to fly in a dream, but I want to fly as a body. Yes. Body, body, body. That should tell you something. Your your dreaming is defined. Yeah. It has a fence around it.
Right.
It's detained and contained. You can't wander off the Ponderosa. You're seemingly in this world of things, even when you're dreaming. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, that has a lot to say, I feel. We have there's an event that happens in many people when they overindulge, let's say chronically or stuff. We call it blackouts, yeah.
Right.
Famous with alcoholism, but it can be a mixture of stuff. The body and the brain hits a point where something occurs. Yes. Now,
Okay.
this is very weird because your memories are held by one idea of you. Now, this is trippy, but it's true. The idea of Paul holds the has the closet of the memories. Yes. So
Okay.
I remember it to right now. I remember a moment I was at this thing, this party, and I had put my hand earlier on through the back window of my mother's house because she locked me out and I wanted to get something. And a big, like, pyramid of glass landed on my thing. And so my thing was squirting. If I went like this, my arm would be squirting blood. I went to this party, and I remember someone and I had a bandage on, and then that was it. That's the last memory, it seemed like. A couple of days later, a day and a half later, or something like that, I came to. Now, did I just freeze and was put in a closet? No. There was a representative called Paul that was representing this life, yeah, but the familiar representation had gone out. Yeah, it got overwhelmed, and a substitute had to show up. You're sleeping with your girlfriend, she doesn't think it's someone else. You're buying tickets, you're doing this, you're doing that. And then you finally come to. And when you come to, you don't remember anything except when you were looked at your arm with the bandage. So the last 36 hours, you seem to have left, but you were functioning as a character that 36 hours. And in my case, I did better in blackouts than I did regularly. Yeah, I never got arrested in a blackout. I was always getting arrested in the regular thing. And so here, in hindsight, I looked at that because I've went through that event many times. And when you come out of it, it's like you just parachuted behind enemy line. You're trying to get an idea of what the person's talking about, so you can just sort of just merge into the traffic. But no one has missed a beat. You were there the whole time. You just didn't know you were there the whole time because you were knowing you were there the whole time as another Paul. Yeah. And then you dry out enough, and then the old Paul comes in, and it cannot brook that there was another Paul. So it completely forgets when the other Paul was running the show. Maybe it 2 days, couple hours, 18 hours. It completely forgets that. Completely. Yeah. Because if there's two Pauls, there are no Pauls. Yeah. So the story of you can be held by many yous. Because you've got to believe that you that was representing me for those 20 something hours had memories, had the whole shebang. Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
The other one got knocked out of service, and there was a substitute. Doesn't that just freaking triggers a
Yeah.
lot of curiosity in my where I'm sitting. I just can't, it's mind-boggling. And they made a movie sort of like it, if you want to watch it, called Moon, where the clone, even when it's presented with the message it's a clone, the first way it hears it is as a human. Yeah. The human programming beats the clone to the news that it's a clone. And to the clone, it may be great. Oh, I'm a fucking clone. That explains anything. But with the human programming, God forbid I'm a clone. That's the last thing the human program wants. Yes? Don't you? This is very easily disturbed if you just sit a few minutes and look at it. Yes. This whole idea that you're a noun that is issuing forth all of its will and choosing into doing. Yeah. If you've ever been taken over by alcohol and drugs, you've done a whole lot of shit that you had no intention of ever doing. None. over and over and over again. So the idea of you're the doer of everything is totally bogus. Yeah. You're so easily influenced that something can compel you to do shit that you would never come up with. Yeah. Just with a bit of alcohol and drugs. So, yeah. So there's no real distinction other than the one we think there is in the dreaming at night and the awake dream. Really.
Yeah.
Yes. This isn't like educational or empirical. It's about relief. Yeah. There's a real solid relief recognizing what you're not. You don't know how much interest and intention and emphasis is going into that project of Paul. You can't even imagine it. To get relieved of a large chunk of it, and I had two major things happen here in this life. Well, many, but getting sober was a huge gift. Yeah. I was at a regular day at the office. I had become hopeless. I was just trying to stay loaded without much money and charm anymore. And I knew I was just going to go into another institution, jail or death. And I had really come to terms with that. I'm just going to try to keep myself loaded until I did. And then something occurred and life intervened and put a stop to that show. And not only the miracle, it gave me a way of life to extend the miracle for 37 years now. Yeah. Now, after that miracle in time, I was brought to a level of something where I could have an interest in something that's not very mentally interesting, which is non-duality. Yeah. And non-duality has, for all point and functions, has become the last answer on this big topic. And it's such a beautiful answer because it takes away the need for any more answers. Yes. So I'm not trying to revolutionize the understanding or radically uh, or pure radical awareness. No, dog shit awareness is perfect. Yeah. Ordinary awakeness is very, very reliable. And then the need to be liberated, you're liberated from that. You get liberated from the need to be liberated. You get liberated from a lot of needs. And there's a lot of requirements that come with a lot of effort to become something that you already are. So you get relieved of all of that drive. Yeah. That just goes round and round. You get relieved of that. Yeah. And when someone says be still, you feel it. Yes. Yeah. It's not like you've got to gird your loins and get ready and all right, let me get the right music on and the candles. Now I can be still. No. Be still is readily available. Yeah, not to you, but readily available. Yes. So you see you're not that which it's not readily available, and now suddenly it's readily available. Do you really believe it's readily available? No, you're always doing something. Doing something to prepare yourself or get ready or whatever. It's like a thief in the night, Jesus said. It catches you by surprise. Yeah. Yeah. In this case, what you're not is always asleep at the wheel, always. It doesn't see it coming. Yeah. Yeah. All right. Well, anyone?
Yeah, Keith has his hand up. Keith.
Come on in, Keith.
Hey, what's going on, Paul? I don't have a question, but just and I don't know if we've ever talked about this show. on here before, but I have a show recommendation. If you haven't watched the show Severance,
No, I have.
it's it. Every single time you talk about your blackouts, or if
Yeah.
I have some old friends that talked about having blackouts from their alcohol benders, but every single time you talk about that, it reminds me so much of this show. And a big picture premise of it is people are able to literally separate their work selves and work life from their everyday life. But it's really gets down to on how I've had some interesting conversations with my wife about the show, because I've tried to point out, like, no, there's if there's two selves, then neither of them are real.
Yes.
Anyways, you said that pretty much verbatim in the last 20 minutes, and it just made me laugh out loud. So
Yes.
I just want to recommend that
All
show
right. Good.
if you're down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've been brought to task about my recommendations. I tend to,
Yeah.
if you follow my recommendations, some of the people tell me the other people are going to become completely desensitized. So I'm not writing my if you want to know what I like, I'll tell you.
Yeah.
Yes.
I don't really like giving
Hereditary.
out recommendations either, because it just kind of turns me off to whatever, because everybody's got favorite
Good.
shows. So
I've heard of it, and I like that word, severance. It sounds,
yeah.
yeah. It sounds like I'm going to get punished when all right.
Yeah, it does.
You got a lot of severance coming.
Yeah.
How am I going to relieve myself of this severance? Yeah. All right, well, thank you, man. That's nice. Yeah.
Yeah, of course.
Anyone else?
No, Paul. Nope. That's it.
All right, so let's start saying goodbye, eh? David Lowe, you got the Stairway to Heaven right behind you. Yeah, I can see it. Yes. Now, some insane person would say, David, walk up and down those stairs 365 times tonight.
I
And
would
then
say that
get
to
back to
myself.
me and tell me what you understood. Kerry, nice to see you. Yes. Mike Clark. Sean, NorCal. All right, Sean. Yeah, us NorCals have to stick together. Miak. Yes. Judy Love. There she is.
Thank you, Paul. Always amazing. Thank you.
You're welcome. You're always amazing, Judy. I always love seeing you guys, all of you. Kathleen. Yes. Stephen Mack on Having Never Left. I'm so happy you returned on Having Never Left. It's nice to see you, Stephen. Raven, we still have you. You're still in our atmosphere. That's nice. That's very nice. Eli, nice to see you, Eli. Mika, Michael Stacy, Brendan, Travis, John in Florida, my main man, Robert Crossman. He hasn't given up us on us yet. That's good. David Bitterman, Mobile. Utilisator. That's cool. To Zoom. All right. Uh, all right. Well, hey, thank you, everyone. I can't get to the other page, but I wish you all a good night or whatever time it is. We'll be here tomorrow night at 7 Pacific time and non-duality and stuff. And yeah, such a pleasure to get together with everyone. We have a statement about it in recovery, which is a loving presence is going to express itself through our group conscience. It's nice. Yeah, I like that statement very much. All right, see you.
Thank you, Paul.
Thanks, Paul.
Thank
Thanks,
you.
everyone.
Michael.
All right, Paul.
Thank
See